Hello everybody, Linda here, and we're going to look at my game backlog. I wanted to update since I always talk about my backlog, where I'm at, and what my plans are for 2025. So we'll go year by year since I started keeping track of what games I had finished. That's when I started in 2020. I wrote down all the games because at the time in 2019, I saw a lot of people doing that where they kept track. And I was like, you know what? I want to go ahead and do that. And actually, it was a saving grace in 2020. For those who don't know, very few do. We didn't get to do anything around March. So I had a couple months of like, oh yeah, let's have fun. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then all of a sudden, boom, can't do anything. So I started really focusing on playing a lot of video games, watching movies, and reading books to keep myself occupied. And I decided, since I was occupied by a lot of stuff and my backlog had been getting ridiculous at that point, I decided I'm going to at least try to, knock out half of my backlog or more if I can. And I hit the goal. I did. I had 60 games on the backlog, if I remember correctly, for 2020. And I did more than 30. And I was like, okay, nice. We did a good job. And so, as you can see right here from the chart, I hit 40. And I was like, okay, cool. But you all know we don't just settle and keep the games. We either buy more from sales for Black Friday or whatever. So my backlog went up again. And in 2021, I looked at the backlog again and I was sitting around 50 from everything that I bought physically, digitally. And I go, okay, I'm not going to set a goal, but let's just see where I go. And sure enough, I hit 35 the next year. And I was like, okay, did a good, knocked out 35. That's golden for me. Then I went to the next year and I was like, okay, at this point, I had decided to go back to Xbox and I'm going to play everything that I had not played for Xbox. I'm not worried about my backlog as much because I kept the past 2 years doing really good and I decided, you know what, I'm not going to set a goal again. If I do decide to go to a backlog game, I'm more than happy to, but as you can tell from this year, I really went ham. I did over 160 games that year. It was wild. I don't think I'll ever hit that number again. Maybe in the future, you never know, when I'm bored. But it was wild because you can see the list. I still averaged 42 for my backlog. A lot of Switch, a lot of PlayStation, and that's why I had a good time with it. Then last year, I went through and again, didn't set a goal for myself. I just decided, you know what, whatever I hit, I'm going to be happy again. And this time, I started taking out games that I didn't enjoy. And I just either sold them or just kept them to give them away to somebody because I realized keeping the game is not going to do me any favors. Like, it's just going to sit there and I'm going to be irritated with the backlog growing and that game is just not going anywhere, not doing anything. So that was at that point last year was I'm going to start just getting rid of games that I don't like. And yes, I know some people, they're like, the collector in you's getting mad about that, but I'm not a collector. I'm a gamer at heart, and I want to keep stuff and open up a window for the potential for new games. Now I'm buying more digital, but I also think about like, hey, somebody else might want to play that game. They might want to be looking for a copy, and I'd rather give them the chance to play it than sit on my shelves and not go anywhere. So I looked at the last year's total, and I hit 45. I was surprised again. I'm averaging about 40 around that area. And so let's go to this year, and I looked at the backlog, and a lot of Switch, a lot of PlayStation again. And this time I did cut Game Pass halfway through because I wanted to switch again to, pun intended, to PlayStation and Switch titles. And I looked at it and I had finished 38 so far. I'm doing pretty good. Again, averaging about 40. And I was like, okay, let me look at the list. I did play a lot of games I did not enjoy that I didn't want to go back to. And so I'm glad I bought them digitally cheap, or I just, again, sold them. So we're going to take a look at my backlog for 2025 and see what I'm planning on doing. We'll go from there. But if you look at it, I did buy a few games for Black Friday sales, and I just pick up a few physical games. So the first one is Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I really have been trying to get into more Zelda games, and I was debating about this, but you know what? Let's just dive right in. When are we ever going to get a game again that we're going to play Zelda? I don't know. So I wanted to support it, and I wanted to play and see what it would be like to play the game and actually see it from her point of view. I heard a couple people is mixed, so I'm going to try it out anyway. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. I did get the double pack. This is a twist on Monster Hunter. I tried to play Monster Hunter and I couldn't get into it because you need people to play with. And most of the time when I did start playing the game, like, it would be a weird hour, nobody be online, and so it was kind of hard to get through missions and battle monsters when it's just yourself solo. And so I was like, let me try this one. It kind of reminds me of Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's kind of like on that vein where you're collecting them, hatching eggs. And so I was like, I'll try that. I've been playing actually the first game for about an hour, and I'm already enjoying it. So we'll see what happens with it, and we'll keep going on that. And the next one is Dragon Quest Sentinels of Starry Skies. This one I picked up at a convention, and I've been trying to get into a Dragon Quest game, but the one thing is it's hard to find a Dragon Quest game that is, time to put into it, because I know that's going to be a long game. And so I decided I'm going to pick up the DS. I can play it handheld. When I travel, I can pop it in and just play it. And also like Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. I've been wanting to play a Might and Magic game for a while. I've been watching a few people online play them, and most of them were dungeon crawlers. And this is the first one that switched it up, and it's basically a strategy RPG. And I don't like strategy RPGs, tactical RPGs, but I looked at it and I saw the way that it plays online, and I was like, this is a weird twist, but in a good way. So I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens with it. We'll go from there. Next is Halloween and Ash vs. Evil Dead. I picked up the bundle deal on the Switch, and I started playing Halloween. I got stuck at the very end. I kind of raged and I put it down, but it's still in the backlog because I want to finish it and I want to play Ash, and I want to get through that one as well. We'll see what happens. I like the games. I like the format. Kind of reminds me of Castlevania with a little bit of homage to other retro style games. Like, what can you say? I'm always fond of Halloween. Then is In Nightmare. I did stream this game and I got a good chunk of it through, but then I kind of put it down because every other game kept distracting me. So we'll see what happens with that one. I want to finish it. It is pretty cool because it kind of reminds me of a little bit of Resident Evil meets Little Nightmares, and I dig both of those franchises. Next is Final Fantasy 16. I've been hearing, again, mixed reviews about this game, but it was on sale, and I decided I'm going to try it out and see what happens, because I don't know. You never know what's going to go with it, but I don't mind paying around $30, $40 for a game than $70 and hate it. And after that, I'm going to continue the Pixel remasters. I did have one and I finished that, and I did that for the 12 RPG challenge, and it was fun. So we're going to see what happens with 2. We'll go from there. It's a really fun game. I like it. Next is Hogwarts Legacy. I saw this and I really dig Hogwarts. I am a Hogwarts fan at heart. Grew up with the game, playing, PS1. I finished all the games. Every game except for I think Quidditch, and the new Quidditch one. I have not finished that. Kind of 50-50 for me. I haven't gotten through it because I don't know. Like, I'm trying to get into it, but it's just not for me. But I haven't paid for it, so if I don't like it, it's not the end of the world. It was on, PS Plus, Game Pass. So we'll see. I am hoping that I really enjoy it. I hear a lot of good things from people who do like it, that they really dug it because they were like a Hogwarts Harry Potter fan. So I'm probably going to get through and enjoy it. Next is Dragon Quest Monsters. I started this game, put it down. I picked it up because I do like, again, Arceus. And I started playing it, and I'm trying to get through it, but it's like a long game for me because I'm getting stuck trying to figure out how to get a bigger boss to be able to battle people. Because you go out and you pick up monsters and you go and battle in the towns and stuff like that. So I'm getting stuck trying to get a new, like, bigger ogre or something like that, I think is what it's called. So we'll see what happens there. And next is Silent Hill 2 Remake. I picked that up. I got the physical copy. And I'm really hoping to see where this goes, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I'm a Silent Hill fan, and I'm so happy that they did a good job. Next is Dragon's Dogma 2. I tried to play Dragon's Dogma. I like the TV show, and I just could not get into the first one. I don't know if it's the pacing, the style, it's clunky. And I'm like, okay, I heard a couple people say that the second one is a lot better. So I saw it was on sale as well. And I said, you know what? I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to play it and just go for it and see if this will be the one. If not, I didn't pay a lot. It was like $30. The next one is This Way Madness Lies. This is an RPG that I saw that I think Limited Run had released. And I was shocked by it because it kind of reminded me of Sailor Moon. But it has Shakespeare. And I was like, okay, Shakespeare, Sailor Moon, right up my alley. It's an RPG. And I saw somebody play it. I liked it. I was like, okay, let me get it. And so I found it online for really cheap because of the sales going on. And I said, okay, we're good to go. Next is Braid Anniversary Edition. I streamed this. This was recommended by somebody in the community. Thank you again. It's an awesome game. It's just the mechanics. I didn't understand it, and then it clicked for me, and so I'm gonna go back and try to finish it because there's a couple puzzles that I'm like, I'm not figuring it out. And so now that I know the mechanics a little bit better, I'm good to go, and I'm gonna go through it. After that, it's Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. I see a lot of Final Fantasies in this because they were all on sale. This one I tried to play because I found it on PlayStation Plus, but the sad part was it's not able to play for my system. And I don't know if I got something blocked or what happened, but I have Ultimate. Like, I have the highest tier, like Premium, whatever it is, you know? And so I always get the highest tier so I can play the classics. And I'm like, why isn't this playing? And I didn't know what was going on, so I looked it up, and sure enough, they have like a season pass. So I bought it, played it, and now I'm going to try to go through this one. It kind of reminds me of like a Souls game a little bit, the art style. So I don't hate it, but I want to go through as many Final Fantasy games as I can. Then I'm going to play Nier Replicant version 1.24744871139, which is the most ridiculous name, but it's hilarious. I saw it was CM Retro play a Nier game, and I really dug the story. I really dug the gameplay, and I found it on PlayStation. But the sad part was it left before I could finish it. It would have been on the 12 RPGs for this year. So I waited for it to go on sale because I was like, I'm not going to pay full price for it. But then I have to restart it because I had it deleted. I don't know if it was on the other system or whatever, but I don't have my save anymore, so I'm going to have to start again. But I'm not mad about it because I really dug at the first part. Then it is Ringlorn Saga. This is an homage to old PC RPGs. It is a short and sweet game, it looks like, and it's got a really unique style. The color palette's all over the place, but I don't mind that. If it's got a good story, we'll see what happens. Next is Until Dawn Remastered. I've been really wanting to play Until Dawn Remastered, but then I saw that a couple people said that it was a glitchy mess, so I waited because I don't like to play when it's like day one and there's issues, so we'll see what happens. I really enjoyed the first one. The original is the best, but we'll go from there. Then it's Romancing Saga 3. I've been wanting to play a Saga game for a while. I keep seeing the advertisements in other games that I have for my PlayStation 2. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pop them in and go for it and see what happens. But yeah, definitely worth your time. Definitely try it out. I've seen people stream this and it's really fun. Then it's Letter Quest Remastered. This is a unique RPG as well. It's kind of like a puzzle gem thing. And so kind of like Bejeweled meets an RPG. And I got a couple other games that I've been trying to get through. And I could not get into them. But I'm hoping that this will be the one. And then maybe I can go back to the other ones. We'll see. Next is Dungeons of Sodaria, I believe. Correct me if I'm saying that incorrect. And this one is a dungeon crawler. I said I wanted to get into more dungeon crawlers, and hopefully this will be the start off. Aragon, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly. It's a game that I bought on sale, and it was one of those like super dirt cheap games that was like the game called Lydia. I streamed that a while back, and it's got a unique art style, so I want to get through that one finally. Maybe I'll play it for Halloween. We'll see. Then it's Cyberpunk 2077. This is a game that I keep putting on the back burner every year, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to finally get through it. Let's just go for it. It was a glitchy hot mess in the beginning, but now it's great. Love the TV show, and we'll see what happens. Then it's Night Slashers Remake. This is a beat 'em up that a lot of people talk about. I've seen on many channels. And it got a remake, and so I decided, you know what, now that it's got a remake, and it's been recommended, it's going on the backlog. So we're going to play that for sure. I just don't know when. We got a few games ahead of it. Then it's Sword of Vagrant. This is kind of like a mix between Castlevania and like Metroid, where you are doing like a Metrovania, running around, getting different things. So I haven't played this type of game in forever, so I decided, you know what, it's on sale, let's grab it. This one was given to me by Chris James, and that's Outbreak Shades of Horror Chromatic Split. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. We'll find out for sure. I haven't played an Outbreak game at all, and I've seen people stream it, and so it's gotten it's like a huge franchise. It's like every game known to man you could think of is like the names. And the final game is Saturday Morning RPG. I bought this when it was on sale, and this has a really unique battle mechanic. I started playing it, and I couldn't get through a certain point, and I have to like learn. It's got a learning curve to it, and it's basically you got to like strategize what you want to do. So we'll see if I get through this one this coming year. But it's a fun time. So there is my backlog for this next year. Let me know, what does your backlog look like? And do you set a goal for yourself? Or do you just go, okay, I'm going to try to get through as many as I can, and whatever I get through, I'm happy. Thank you for watching. If you're new, please subscribe. And as always, keep on gaming. I'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody.
She's the queen of the fight. From in San Diego, the Grand Theft Auto streets. Oregon Trail, the Oregon Trail, she's got the beats. Stand back, she's got the Genie in hand with VHS recording. She's in command from 8-bit wonders to the latest craze. Linda, the gamer gal, she's here to amaze.